Hello Procrastinator, Sam here, and today we have some information coming out of SEGA, sad news coming out of SEGA, and I wanted to talk about it as it seems pretty important and it could affect where we go from here regarding all things SEGA. And I apologize for any stuttering that happens during this video. I don't really have much of a script, but I thought it was important to talk about anyways, so I hope you guys bear with me as we talk about this. If you guys have not already heard, SEGA is selling its arcade business to Genda. Genda is an arcade game rental firm in Tokyo. And this is what the Famitsu article had to say. All links of anything I'm reading will be in the description. SEGA is selling its arcade business to Genda, a Tokyo-based company involved in arcade game rentals and online crane games. According to Gigi, SEGA Sammy Holdings is selling Genda an 85.1% stake in SEGA Entertainment, which is the company's subsidiary that operates the arcades, for an undisclosed amount in late December. Genda will take control of over 200 SEGA arcades across Japan. Famitsu is reporting that after the sale, the arcades will keep their name and branding in order to keep existing customers. SEGA will continue to develop arcade games, but will be shifting a portion of its arcade game developers to home consoles. So as you can tell, the arcade market in Japan for SEGA has taken a heavy hit because of the pandemic. And obviously, you know, it's an arcade. First off, before the pandemic, arcades were already kind of on the decline. Not many people are going out of their house to go play games. And it's sad to see. I love arcades. I've mentioned it before. Arcades is like my heaven. I love arcades so much, and it's always been my dream to fly to Japan to go to one of these SEGA arcades in Akihabara, or go to Joyopolis, stuff like that. So it looks like things are changing, but it looks like SEGA's branding will stay up. It looks like they'll just be buying, you know, the assets of the arcade, but it seems that on the outside appeal, not much will be changing in terms of, you know, SEGA's branding. And from what I heard in this article, it sounds like SEGA's taking kind of an opposite approach to what Konami did. If you guys remember, Konami, it was just like SEGA, was a third party that made a bunch of, you know, home console games and had arcade games. And they seemingly put all their eggs into one basket, that being arcade and pachinko machines, and essentially relatively abandoned the home game console market. And it did not go over well. Not a lot of people liked that. And it seems like SEGA is kind of taking the opposite approach, which is a good thing, mind you. That's a very good thing. Clearly, the home console video games are doing very well for SEGA. In fact, I have more information on that later on in this video, but it looks like SEGA, rather than, you know, putting all their assets into trying to do more in the arcade business, it seems like they want to back out of the arcade business and put all their eggs into the home video game consoles. And that could be a bit of a positive for the home game consoles, as it seems like they are shifting many of their arcade game developers to the developers that work on home game consoles. What that means, I don't really know, but I think what we can assume is that if there is going to be more employees working on the home console side of things, we could assume that we'll probably get more people in things like the Sonic team and Creative Assembly, the people that make the Yakuza games. You know, we'll probably get more people in there. They'll probably have a new team that works on other SEGA properties. Who knows? We really don't know what that means. It just seems that they are shifting the portion of the developers to the home console side of things. And that's kind of the side of me that wants to believe that's true, because, you know, I always hope for the best in situations like this. If they wanted to, you know, move those developers to work in an area that is working for SEGA, that sounds great. But the next article that came out this morning kind of sounds like the opposite. This article also comes from Famitsu, and they said, in Japan, SEGA just asked 650 employees to retire voluntarily. As SEGA Sammy announced, it is selling off its arcade business. The Tokyo-based game company also announced that it is asking 650 employees to retire voluntarily. With COVID-19 impacting business, SEGA is expecting what it calls an extraordinary loss during the current financial year. They go on to say that according to the company, the global pandemic has significantly affected business, which is why the company is selling its arcade business. However, SEGA Sammy continued in an official announcement, in order to recover earnings at an early stage and achieve substantial growth in the future, we consider that it is necessary to promote cost reduction centered on fixing expenses and build an even more efficient system, and decided to call for a voluntary retirement of employees. Sega Sammy is asking 650 full-time employees to voluntarily retire, giving those who choose to do so payment of extraordinary retirement allowances and repayment support for applicants. Continuing, Sega Sammy is slashing the salary of its executives. The company's representative director is getting a 30% monthly pay cut, while the senior executive vice president is dropping 20%. The senior vice president is seeing 10% come off his monthly pay. Among Sega Sammy's group companies, there will also be pay cuts for top management. Sega Sammy will also not pay performance bonuses to the company's directors based on this year's financial forecasts. So that obviously is an extremely scary thing to hear. Sega asking employees to voluntarily retire. And now the good part about that is it sounds like they want to help them get new jobs. It sounds like they have some sort of transition period for those employees if they choose to do so. But again, it's voluntary. I doubt any employee would want to do that. And it's a scary sign because I'm pretty sure that means if you don't voluntarily retire, we'll probably just lay you off. And another thing that we don't know for sure is if this affects places like Sega of America, Sega Europe, the home console divisions of Sega. It sounds like this is for the entire company, so it could affect them, which is extremely scary to hear. But we just don't know right now. It is completely unconfirmed, but we can assume that it will probably affect them in some way. And again, as someone who clearly likes many of their video games, their home console video games, that is an extremely scary thing to hear. Over the years, as I've been doing YouTube, as I've been interacting with this community, I got to know many people behind the scenes, became personal friends with them, and to hear something like that is extremely worrying, and I feel for them. I really do. I feel for them. It saddens me greatly. I really hope it doesn't come to that. I hope Sega was able to pull through, and a little part of me hopes that the first part, where they mentioned that they want to actually bring in the arcade developers into the home console market, I hope that side happens more than this side where they're going to end up possibly laying off some employees to make do what they can. And all of this seems relatively somber, and it seems like Sega is not in all of a good place. But there is one little shred of positivity I could give you guys, and this is information that I learned last night from the great people at Tails channel. And I won't lie, there is a little bit of hesitancy to talk about this because of the community's reaction to the last time this happened. What I'm referring to is Sega Sammy's quarterly report. The new one was just released, and if you guys remember the community's response to the last one, where Sonic was apparently number 4 on the list of Sega's best-selling, I did not like how the community responded to that at all. Sega themselves said it was a very strong performance. It exceeded their expectations. Sonic sold, I believe, 800,000 units, again, at a time where they didn't sell anything. They weren't making anything new. They made 800,000 in the first year, in the first part of 2020, which sounds like a pretty strong number, and Sega themselves said that. But that didn't stop people in the community from assuming like Sonic is dead, that it's irrelevant, and that, Sonic is just the worst. And of course, I'm about to prove all those people wrong, because in this new quarterly report, Sonic is now number 2. But I guess that might not be good enough for some. They'll probably still think Sonic's a dead franchise and all that stuff. But here comes the numbers that are pretty damn impressive. And again, all this information is coming from the people at Tails channel who decided to share some of this information with me last night. So again, shout out to them. Please, follow their YouTube, follow their social medias and their website to get the latest in anything Sonic or Sega related. And again, shout out to them for letting me use some of this information. So in the new quarterly report, it looks like the consumer division performed strongly again. And in fact, the Sonic series sold 2.3 million units, essentially double the amount of the last quarterly, which was 800,000. And again, that is based on sales with them not releasing anything. So let's keep that in mind. The same people that complain that Sonic is not doing anything are the same people that are acting surprised when Sonic is not number 1 on the charts. But still, Sonic has not released anything new. They are having some ports with Team Sonic Racing and Sonic Mania, stuff like that. I don't know if that stuff is out yet. I don't think it is. But again, they're doing really well and exceeding their expectations. And it really is probably the real positive they have here, is that they're selling very well, and fans in the console market are hungry for more stuff. And again, if you guys seen my video in the past based off of ports, it looks like Sega is hearing you guys, and they are going to be working on more ports in the future. So again, just be patient with them. Obviously, they know that the home console is something that is beneficial to them, so that's why they mentioned they want to bring arcade developers to that side of the business. But again, that part where they said 650 employees probably need to retire, we don't know what part that would impact. It sounds like the entire company as a whole, but if I had to guess, I would probably say that's most likely just for the arcade side of things, since they seem to be backing out of that business. And that's really the information we have right now out of Sega, with a little bit of new information thanks to the people at Tails Channel that you guys heard here first, thanks to their quarterly report. So yeah, that's a lot to take in, and I don't know how to feel. Obviously, it's not great news to hear that Sega is, backing out of the arcade business. I love their arcades. I've been, with me and my friends in our Discord calls at night, we watch a lot of videos of Akihabara, the street that has like 4 Sega arcade buildings in one spot, and we just constantly, watch videos and kind of daydream of being there, and it just looks so cool to see, an entire city lit up with Sega arcades, and to see that market is not doing well, it hurts to kind of see. It's sad, and I hope this is just a temporary thing. I know that's so naive of me to think that's not how the real world works, but a little part of me hopes that, maybe when this pandemic is over, they could see a boost in the arcades again and see something there. But clearly, arcade games are not that popular. They're not doing that great. And the news from Sega that they are thinking of having employees, 650 employees voluntarily retire, is very concerning. It's very concerning. And as again, someone who knows some people personally who work on official stuff, I hope it doesn't come down to them being affected at all, or anyone for that matter in the home console market. If it's true that Sega is doing well in that side, and it seems like they are, I hope they double down and really just hold on out for those employees, because I feel like those employees are extremely talented in what they do, and they could bring some really great products if they are just given the right resources. And let me explain to you guys why there was a bit of hesitancy for people like me and people at Tails Channel to release this report. Is because of everything that's happening right now. The last thing those employees need is a bunch of angry, petty Sonic fans yelling, "This is what happens when you don't give us what we want." I know some people will do that. Some people are going to try to pull this blame on the fact that Sega hasn't released anything during this pandemic, and they always point fingers at Nintendo and other companies. Like, look at them, look, they're releasing games, why can't Sega? Fans will try to spin this. I know they will. And the last thing those employees need right now is a bunch of angry and petty Sonic fans to do that, just because you didn't get a Sonic game this year. Clearly, there's a lot more going on in the world than video games. Clearly, there's a lot more going on than just Sonic the Hedgehog. I've mentioned this before, and I'll say it again. Every company handles this pandemic differently. Every company is stationed in areas that are not as affected as some. Sega of America is in California, which is literally a hot spot for COVID. Their cases have been going up significantly, especially in the Los Angeles and Burbank area that they are living in. There's a lot more going on in areas where people can't just simply go into work and work on a blue hedgehog. There's a lot that goes on. It's not easy. And I'm not trying to make an excuse for them. I want a Sonic game as much as you guys, I do. But there's a lot more going on in the world, and we need to understand that as a community, and especially as content creators that try to kind of fearmonger in the idea that Sonic as a franchise is dying. Clearly, if you look behind me, Sonic isn't dying. Clearly. So thanks for listening to me ramble for however long. And again, I'm really sorry to be in a damper mood about this. You know, when I was writing the bullet points for this, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of began to tear up a little bit, because this is a company I love. It's a company I grew up with, and it seems like ever since they've just been on a declining slope, a very slow declining slope. At times they'll have their great periods where they go up again, but the more and more as time goes on, it seems like we're just kind of kicking the can down the curb for what is inevitable. And I hope that, you know, Sega can really turn themselves around. If you guys haven't noticed, Sega really has done a great job at bringing back a lot of their other IPs outside of Sonic. Sega is not only Sonic, and for some reason it's a hard pill for Sonic fans to know this. If the last quarterly report was anything to go off of, Sega is not only Sonic. They have a lot of other video games and a lot of other series that do extremely well. In fact, one of the games I'm addicted to right now is Phantasy Star Online 2. That is a Sega game, and I absolutely love it. I hope I could stream it one day on my Twitch or something. But I absolutely love that game, and it's a game that I didn't think I would get into, but the more I play it, the more I'm actually addicted to it. I've been playing it every night, and Sega is a company that has great potential, and they can make a lot of great products. It just comes down to them having the resources to do so. So with that said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Again, shout out to Tails channel for that little bit of information that they gave us. Please go down in the description, follow their stuff. All the sources that I read from the articles from Kotaku will also be down there. And again, if you guys enjoy your time here, again, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. This is Sam signing out. See you later, procrastinators.